So I want to tell you a story about a potential client who reached out to me last week. She opened with something I hear pretty much all the time. All my phone calls that I receive are kind of like, hey, I did my resume. I think it's fine. I just really don't understand what's going on. I'm not getting a ton of calls. And the ones that I do, I feel like I have to really sell myself to that initial recruiter to show them that, yes, I did do the job. So instead of opening the resume right away, I asked them a different question. I said, can you walk me through one project that you are really, really proud of? And she paused for just a little bit of a second, and then she started talking. And about 5 minutes in, I realized something so important. Everything that she was describing, the work, the decisions, the impact, it was not at all showing on her resume. It wasn't even close. Like, her resume was one of those, like, I did this, I did this, I did this, like just like 4 or 5 bullets of just general responsibilities. But what she was describing, it wasn't small at all. It wasn't vague. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to show up and do the job. She had actually stepped into this really messy situation at the role she was looking at making a move from. And in that role, when she got there and she started noticing all this, like the customer retention was slipping. It was kind of just like every single month, it was like going down. The new hires were taking a really long time to ramp up. It was really frustrating her frontline managers. It was burning out the teams because everyone's working lean right now as it is. And then you get the budget to hire someone, and then it's taking forever to ramp them up. And it was a process where everyone was kind of like, okay, something's not working, but no one really knows what's not working. No one wanted to touch it. And because of this, the revenue was starting to go down a little bit. Not in this major, dramatic way, but it was kind of like a slow erosion that everyone's going to notice it when it really happens. It was starting to happen. But this person, she actually noticed it and she fixed it. She took the initiative. She worked cross-functionally with the operations, with the sales, and I think with the customer success teams, and actually mapped out these processes end to end. She figured out okay, what are the bottlenecks? Where's the communication gaps happening? And then she actually delivered business cases to go in and redesign the onboarding workflows. I believe she actually, in some of the project management side, I'm going from memory on this, so bear with me, introduced Agile. She shortened the onboarding time, and she improved customer retention even because everyone was starting to get better, knowing what they're doing, and they were able to then recover the revenue. Every single one of those things was truly measurable. And this was one major initiative with 30 or 40 mini initiatives in it. But each one of those things matters. Every single one of those things was totally missing from her resume. She didn't mention it at all. She had something like oversaw operations and projects for a blah, blah, blah organization, managed teams. It was really basic, 4 or 5 bullets. And I was like, why isn't this on your resume? That is something that would have stopped me as my time as a recruiter. And she was like, oh, I just didn't think any of that counted or belonged on a resume. It's just part of my job. And this is where so many people get stuck, because inside your head, your story, especially if you're an overachiever, usually feels normal. It's just, oh, it's part of the job. It feels routine. This is what I need to do. I just go in and fix stuff, right? But on the outside, to other people, these amazing stories are your stories. These are the value. It's the difference between I did tasks to here's a list of the things that I changed. What was it after? What systems were involved? Did she run into any resistance? What were the revenues before and after? If you can't give that because it's proprietary, I get that. So, hey, what was the percentage increase? What happened to customer retention? Did customers start noticing this? And what happened to the overall morale of that organization? Because everyone's running now like a little well-oiled machine there. And slowly, her entire narrative shifted. And I was like, this is stuff that you need to put on your resumes, whether or not you work with me or do it on your own, but this is stuff that needs to be on there. And this is your story. Nothing's inflated. This is stuff that you actually did. And if you actually pull those numbers out of these places, just take that deep dive and that reflection, you're going to have this really strong document that you can then actually talk about those stories on the interview, and your resume becomes a value-driven document rather than a list of responsibilities. It becomes this record of impact. It's going to show your process improvements. It's going to show your value. I always tell people, I want my clients walking into an interview with a halo on their head. It's like, oh my gosh, the person that's going to solve all our problems is here. If you are writing your own resume or you're working with a writer, whatever your case may be, just look back at yourself, all the really cool stuff that you've done, and put it out there. Put about your impact. Think about it. They paid you to do the job, but let's talk about all the cool stuff that you made happen.